My parents are dead, and I deal with it by beating up on homeless people on the streets. Hello, I am Sebastian, and welcome to my continuation of my rapid reviews for movies released in 2021. Not this year, because I am horrible at time management. Let us appreciate my inept time management together, shall we? The Justice League, or should I call it the Justice League, as a theatrical version, 2017, saw a clashing of tones as the original 2017 cut version was met with production hell, I would say overall. After Zack stepped down from production, that's when they brought in Joss Whedon, as you may have known him from directing the first two Avengers movies. Both have been met with massive financial success. Doesn't surprise me that DC was like, hey you, come here, come work with us. Come make something with us, please. With him on the deck, there were certainly a lot of changes and creative decisions that were certainly made in the theatrical version that we got those many years ago. To be honest, I didn't even dislike that version. I certainly found it to be underwhelming, to say the least. I mean, nothing terrible, but nothing terrific either. I saw it and I just kind of forgot about it by the time the season rolled around. I mean, after seeing Batman v Superman from Zack back in 2016, I left that theater pretty depressed. So I was pretty impressed after seeing the extended cut version how much was missing from the original product. Same goes for this one, because after watching the extended version of what the initial director wanted and what he wanted to say, and the consistent tone overall, certainly makes this for a much more consistent and impactful viewing experience for sure. Going into it, I was just thinking, first one was mediocre, so really, can they really make it worse, you know? Within the first hour, I realized, oh damn, all of these characters are much more fleshed out and their motivations are so much more clear than the theatrical cut version. Obviously, it is because of that 4-hour runtime. Yeah, you heard me. 4 hours is the extended cut. A movie with this many characters is gonna need more runtime for us to further understand these characters' motivations, what makes them tick. There are completely new scenes in here that we never saw. Either they were reshot or they were just archived all these years and were just never put into the theatrical cut version. I initially planned to just watch this 4-hour cut in segments, you know? I told myself, okay, I'll watch 1 hour now, another hour later, and finish the rest another time. I ended up watching all 4 hours in one sitting because it was that engaging. Actually, I was pretty surprised. It still is just another superhero movie about a team up of demigods, you know, learning to work together. But the difference between this and the theatrical version is pretty mind-blowing, to say the least. I'm not gonna go through every little bit and cranny. We'll be here all night, and I'll have to make like a 2 to 3 hour video. I'm sure there's videos of YouTube on that out there. Just go look for it, trust me. You'll find DC fanatics doing that for sure. I usually am against bloating up a movie's runtime because no matter how interesting a concept is, no matter how interesting a story, no matter how engaging characters can be, a long runtime will just bog and bloat the movie and will make it tiresome and grueling to watch. I still stand by my argument that these particular characters should have gotten their own standalone movies, at least most of them, prior to even the theatrical cut coming out. The DC fanboys are going to attack me for this, but looking at Marvel's formula, they had these solo standalone movies for the Avengers before they, or at least most of the Avengers before they got together. So when they finally got together, it was much more engaging, it was much more fun because we already understood these characters. We understood how these characters interact with other people around them. It was just exciting to see how they interact with other beings that are just as mythical or powerful as them. I never really got that in the original theatrical cut version. You certainly get more of it here, where the superheroes don't interact with just superheroes, but we actually have the superheroes' alter egos interacting with other superheroes' alter egos, referring to them by their actual names and speaking to them as their actual characters, not their superhero characters, if that makes sense. Small moments like that really, really do add up to further sympathizing with these characters and understanding them. Therefore, you want to see them succeed. You want to see them have fun. Ben Affleck's Batman was the best part, certainly, in Batman v Superman. He still is fairly underwhelming and more disappointing in this. They toned back on his overall badassness and his completely dark fanfic version where he's just straight up killing people at this point. I mean, I don't mind personally. It's cool to watch. I'm not a Batman fanatic. I'm not going to crucify Zack for wanting to make him darker and actually shoot guns. I don't care. I don't give a shit. It's cool to watch. Sue me. Don't sue me, please. I'm gonna say it right now. I think Superman is so boring. I think his superpowers, what he stands for, is the most basic version of any superhero that has ever existed ever. Henry Cavill's fine. He certainly plays a more glum and gloomy Superman, but I'm certain that's intentional from Zack. He's a very gloomy filmmaker. I get it. It just seems at this point, his character is just to be a tank. I don't care about anything about him. He's simply there just to show that Superman does not need the Justice League. He can kick ass. He can eat ass on his own without the help of any of them. When he shows up at the end, it's just so comedic how he takes down these enemies so easily by himself. I thought it was funny back then, and I still think it's funny now. Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. She's got a good amount of badass moments. Her specific character soundtrack was played a lot in this cut. It was very interesting. I wonder why they specifically played it. I mean, it's not a bad sounding soundtrack, but it certainly gets kind of parody at a certain point when you repeat the same exact track. Barry Allen, the dorky, nerdy comic relief one, he still plays it well. Ezra Miller is good with comedic timings. He plays the good, awkward teen, obviously the youngest of the group. But still, I really wanted to see his own standalone movie prior to this. It would have been nice. Also for Cyborg. Cyborg surprisingly was so much more of a central character in this than he was in the theatrical version. It is absolutely mind-boggling and criminal just how much of these character building moments in Act 1 have been completely scrapped. Added scenes, lore, world building was just so much more engaging. The really cool thing is that this movie actually breaks up into different chapters as though you are reading a book. So it's very good for those who don't want to watch it the whole 4-hour run at once. You could watch it in multiple segments if you really wanted to. It's really cool that they were considerate about that. Danny Elfman's score, pure magic back then, even more magic now, because I'm pretty sure I heard new tracks in this version that I don't recall hearing in the original. Everything Danny Elfman does, he's a god. Everything he does is just pure magic, and he makes every movie he works and just so much more sensational. The visuals look just as good. I'm surprised that they went back and even retouched up entire CGI models of certain characters. That's really cool that, they were just completely given a budget to just go back entirely and essentially just kind of redo a whole movie, it kind of felt like, because my camera died because I'm a little bitch. I want to finish this. I want to go to bed. It's incredible just how much the studio gave Zack the creative freedom to just go back and reshoot so many things to the point where it just feels like they just reshot an entire movie. I think that's so cool, and it's not typical for big major studios to really do nowadays. They're usually very cutthroat with it and just very assertive and dominant, and hey, we already did this, we're not gonna dive more money into something that's probably not even gonna make us that much more money in return, especially if it's only gonna be shown on HBO Max. But it's just incredible how they were able to incorporate so many new reshoots into what we've already seen and not have any quality drop in it. It's so seamless. The missing scenes make for a more tonally consistent viewing experience. Remodels on jarring characters just show the pure passion and effort behind Zack and his whole team in wanting to redo or just polish up something that they truly wanted to make. Much respect to him and his whole team for doing this. Encourage and speak out for studios to do this more. Encourage studios to put the money into having filmmakers create what they truly want to make, especially if they go through production hell. GG's, Warner Brothers. 7 out of 10. Improvement over its theatrical cut overall. Okay, I'm stuck with this.